I love 3D, whether it's a traditional 3D application such as Maya or Lightwave, or even the capability to create 3D right from within Illustrator itself. Let me demonstrate that to you by selecting the H in this logo. And by the way, this is just the updated logo from my old comic book series hamster device that I created way back in the 80s when everybody had shoulder pads in their jackets. So I'm going to go to the Effect menu, and I'm going to choose 3D, and I'm going to choose Extrude and Bevel. I'll move this over, and I'm going to then click on the Preview button to show you what happens. Right away, we see an extrusion of the letter, but we also see an outline, because this, like many other effects in Illustrator, is simply an appearance that has been applied to our object. The cool thing about this is I can grab this box here to rotate and determine how I want this to be applied to the object. And I can work on any axis that I want to. So I can work on the X, Y, or Z axis. I can enter my own parameters here. I can play around with the perspective amount with this slider. And I can also determine the extrusion amount and the amount and type of bevel. So I can choose the bevel type, and I can choose the height of that bevel. I can also determine to put a cap or have no cap so I can see through the letter or whatever object I have selected. I can also determine the type of shading, from no shading to wireframe to plastic shading. And once I'm happy with my options, I can then click OK, and I can see that effect applied to my objects. I'm going to click on the V now, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go to Effect. I don't really need to return to that dialog box because it remembers the last operation that I applied, which is Extrude and Bevel. So I'll select that again, and it follows the same parameters. I could, of course, grab the entire logo at one time and apply that, but it's easier sometimes to grab one element at a time to apply the effect because you might find that it's overkill, or you might just want to do it on certain elements of your logo or whatever artwork you're extruding. This, of course, also works on regular objects. So I can grab a rectangle, and I'll just draw it over here. And I will once again go to Apply, Extrude, and Bevel. And you see that I have this applied. The outline color that you see here is based on our stroke color, which in this case is a light blue. And I can change that at any time while it's still selected. I can also change the fill color. So using the Extrude and Bevel option on an object that you have selected is a great way to incorporate Illustrator's 3D functionality onto your 2D flat artwork.